Hmm? I'm calling them back tomorrow. Tell them they ain't fixed crap.
There you go. And I'm gonna go get her coffee, okay?
Okay. Uh, this is about stupid. What's it doing now?
What? Yours? Yours?
Yeah.
It wants the code.
Okay. Oh,
Code. Code. Here. Go get coffee.
these stupid things about ignorance. I hate computers. Y'all should come investigate with me during a night crew session. Who was that from? Who was that? Who was that from? Where, where'd it go? Come do a night session. Where in the world did it go? Don't make no daggum sense. Don't didn't stay up long enough. Y'all should come do a night session with me. Uh, wherever Amy Allen is. I don't know. Only Amy Allen I don't know of does that show on TV that uh,
Anyone jumped on yet?
it says too. Ain't seen no comments yet. Yeah, you remember that show I was watching here the other day back? Uh, I told you I watch sometimes at woman. They come in and she does a walkthrough in the house, after like all the pictures and stuff been took off the wall. There's a thing popped up on my computer that said y'all should come and do a night session with us, and had Amy Allen wrote on it. That's the only Amy Allen I know of. There's a TV show it still may come on. I don't know. Uh, what was that called? Uh, hey, Beck.
Hey, Beck.
What was that called?
The girl.
Uh, huh. I jumped to just delete that. Delete that one. What was the name of that show she did? She had a detective that works with her.
Oh, you mean the X-Files?
The Dead Files. Dead Files. Yeah, yeah, it's called Dead Files. What popped up said y'all should come do a night session. And then everybody had Amy Allen on it. That's only Amy Allen I know of. I don't know any other.
Paranormal investigator. Beck's.
So I guess she's up to something. And I guess she's watched something. I think they play that on it's either Travel Channel or A&E or something. I can't remember, but I used to watch him a lot.
You better know I'm somewhat comfortable. Are you?
I'm all right this minute. Oh, I gotta take my medicine though.
Yeah.
I'll get it in a minute. That but didn't stay on long enough for me to say anything. You know how when you turn your
It
computer
hit
on,
suggested videos first.
it,
Yeah.
no, it said it popped up, like where people commented and this and that and stuff.
That's called suggested videos now.
Well, in that little white box,
Mm-hmm.
you know how it pops up at the bottom? That's the way it was, but it didn't give me time to do nothing. I'm calling Spectrum back in the morning and tell them they're getting somebody out here to fix my internet because it says medium
Yeah.
on my Wi-Fi and it's doing fine on the phone. So it should do fine on my laptop. I'm about tired, fed up with this now. I like to be able to sit here and do this with my laptop. It's hard for me to do this phone. Paranormal investigator, yeah. She she's kind of like a medium. Uh, she's not a psychic. Um, she can feel energy. Uh, I guess it'd be neat to do. She must be fixing to do one around here somewhere. Um, where, where do you see them at, anyways?
Hey, Alicia. You mean on YouTube then?
Huh?
You mean on YouTube?
On the thing that where it popped up at. I like I like to see. Text your granny and tell her that one we had to jump off of because the computer wasn't working. But we're on now with hey Alicia. Uh yeah. Uh live through the phone, so go to the other one.
Yes.
Stupid gun computers. I hate them. I think she knows what you're doing too.
Hmm?
See what I'm talking about? Something popped up there.
The one.
You need to watch.
Well, with that there and then your speaker, I can't see nothing.
Well,
On the side right there.
anyway, it pops up right there at that bottom right, back to there. It said she knows what you do.
The what?
It said she knows what you do, but it had JD written on it.
Yeah.
She knows what?
That just might be your notifications.
I think she knows what you do. That's what I'm telling you. So, but she's on. Alice has to be on here then. So Alicia, Beck. Yeah. I don't know if all of you watched that story earlier that I told. There's a few things in that I don't think ever got clarified for me. Um, for the ones that have not watched it, I advise you go watch it. There's a couple things in there that has me kind of puzzled. The woman that Mama, my grandmother, kept seeing said she guessed she was too weak during her pregnancy. And then she said she believed she had they was out doing flower gardens or something, and she believes she had a heart attack. And in that, uh, she she asked Margie to take me and show her where her family is buried, but there were only three graves. Why wouldn't they be four? Her, her old man, and her two kids. That's four. And me and Christine was talking about that a while ago. I just wonder, since she said that that old house back then wasn't the house she lived in, I'm wondering if she was buried where they built the house that Papa and them had rented. And that's why she just keeps coming back.
You know it's Samantha Jackson.
Samantha Jackson. No.
That's probably what you saw a few minutes ago because she commented 13 minutes ago on a video of yours before.
What'd she say?
Y'all should come investigate with me and my crew one night. That would be awesome. I haven't seen you at the store in Powell in a long time. That's probably what you've seen on
there. Yeah, that was that name right there, Amy Allen. And she's a medium. She does like night stuff, night sessions. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Samantha Jackson said the thing that I just said to you.
Well, that could be one of her workers.
Maybe it might have been what popped up. You said that you saw.
But didn't give me time to do nothing with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was probably what that
Stupid
was.
dumb computers.
Because she commented that 13 minutes ago on a Jack and Lilly Sullivan case that you did.
Well,
I only know it because I'm on the studio.
Yeah.
Since I'm a mod.
It says there's 7 on 3 lives. Come on, guys, hit the like button. If you're sitting in the back, hit it anyway. Or come on in and join the JSB gang here. I guess it would be pretty neat to do it. I don't know how that'd work out between a medium and a sensitive. If she's fully focused on what she's getting logically, then that's what I would be thinking the whole time that I'd be getting from her. Especially if she ever touched me. That's like with anybody can touch me. And it's like I can see what their day has been or what's troubling.
Sorry, I had to poke you when you said that.
She tests me all the daggone time.
Hey, I do not.
Yeah. But
what do you mean by that?
You ought to know. But I mean, I guess it'd be okay.
Don't make me poke you again. I won't poke you again. Don't make me.
You caused me to spill my coffee, and I'm gonna pour it on your toe.
Do that and see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
My foot will go flying to your chest.
Because you go hopping in there like a bunny rabbit.
No, considering the way I'm sitting, my foot will go right to your chest.
No, you'd be up hopping like a bunny rabbit. There you go. That's what happened. Now, tell your granny to go on the other one. I
did.
Tell her to go on the other one. Apparently she's trying to get on the one that I tried with a computer.
Let me do this. See, the only thing that she ever says to me is okay.
Well,
that's how she's starting to be. It's just saying okay to everything.
Well, it ain't our fault. We try to let her know. Shortly she can find it. Anybody else can. So, it
Just
ain't even 9 o'clock yet. Huh?
Oh, wait a minute. I might have just sent her the wrong one. It might have. No, I sent her the right one.
But yeah, from that story, that's the two things that really stood out to me. I wonder. She said that her and her husband every springtime they would get out there and plant flower gardens and whatnot. And I wonder if she got sick before she could have the baby. And if that was hey Sabina, if that was the case, then maybe the last thing she remembered was planting flowers. So there's a reason she kept coming back to that place. But if she would have been buried where that old house was that she lived in, and nobody knew it, just had, no marker up, maybe, nobody would have known it back in them days. So I think Papa them rented that up. Well, it was taken out, for him working in the chicken house to stay there. But yeah, I just can't get past the point of which it could be. Either she fell sick before she had the baby, or she was out and had a heart attack. That's what she said. She believed she died of. Then again, she said, I believe I was too weak during pregnancy. And why there's not but 3 graves there, I have no idea. There she is.
Hey,
You found us. Yeah. That's the only confusing thing for me about that whole thing. I mean, it was a good story. It's a meaningful story, and apparently it was only made for Mama's eyes. Otherwise, Papa and Mama and everybody would have seen it. But yeah, saying maybe 2 weeks during birth or during pregnancy, and then saying that she believes she might have had a heart attack. I think the reason she kept putting them flowers up may be the last thing she ever remembered.
Oh yeah.
And said her kids was, don't remember how old she said the girl was, boy, about 15, 16 year old. So she didn't go during the pregnancy unless.
She did.
Wait a minute. Unless she. Well, she was having a third child and went that way. She might have been pregnant and something went south. Mm-hmm. And her out there putting them flowers, her coming back like she does maybe her way of seeing if the baby was, born or whatnot. Because she said, she asked Mama, did she not see her kids up there next to the house? Mama said, no. She said, didn't you just see them just fly up through there? Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course that's awesome, but I mean, how would you want to rehearse that over and over and over and over? She's looking for something.
I bet she's looking for that baby.
I bet she's looking for that. I bet she was pregnant with a third child. Heck, I don't know. How's everybody doing, daggone it? I guarantee you I call that Spectrum Internet place in the morning. I'm about tired of this. Can't go live on my laptop. Yeah, we see there. You found us. She's got her chair sideways over here to me.
Yeah, because it's the only way I can get comfortable with this.
We got to get us one of them gaming chairs. I mean, that's the only way we're going to be able to do this, where we're actually good and comfortable. Even in this chair, I'm having to put a couple of pillows behind me. So, let's see. Let me see if that Bluetooth is on this one. Bear with me for a second, guys. No, it's off. I thought I was having a heat stroke today. Just took. You got that right. Sure did. When I just touched upon it, said something about 7 degrees cooler than today. So apparently it will be. I need to Bluetooth this. I guess it already did. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Come on, see if we can find on here of it. I'm tired of them just chasing tails around here. She says, hey, Christina. Let me see if I can find one here. Caught red-handed. Let's turn it around. See if I can get myself situated here now. See, what I need to do is I want this up to my screen for it to fill up the whole screen. That's what I'm wanting. That's what I'm just finna get. Some which way or another.
Yeah, and at this point, this ain't yours.
What? Are you crazy as heck?
At this point, it's not.
What in the world is all over that fella's chest there? What is that? That's that Dr. Pimple. All right, let's see if we can get this straight now. Sorry, guys, but I'm trying to get it as even as I can so y'all can see the bottom and the top. Okay, let me.
Weeks went by with nothing but silence, no answers, no clues, no children. And then, like someone flipped a switch, everyone started talking, not the police, not the investigators, but the people, the neighbors, the strangers, the relatives, the voices on live streams and Facebook comment threads. And in the middle of all that noise, Lilly and Jack Sullivan were still missing, two little ones, 6 years old. 4 years
Oh, you about
old,
to
gone without a trace.
blow my eardrums
Among the
out.
voices that emerged was one name that stood out, not because of who he was, but because of what he claimed to know. Darren Gettis, known online as Durwood. He's not a detective, not a
Hey,
reporter,
Reese.
but he is
How you
family,
doing, love?
a distant cousin of Malaya Brooks Murray, the children's mother. His connection was confirmed by Belinda Gray, the children's paternal grandmother. Darren lives in Trenton, Nova Scotia. He says he knows how this region works, its culture, its people, its backroads, and more importantly, he says he knows what happened to Lilly and Jack. Darren's story isn't vague. It's not built on hunches or rumors. According to him, someone close to the family told him everything, front to back, he says. He refuses to name this insider unless their story proves to be false, but he calls them ironclad, solid,
Hey, Connie.
unshakable. He says he's checked their story with others, and in his words, it all lines up. But what exactly is Darren claiming? He's not saying the children were kidnapped. He's not even saying they wandered off. He's saying their mother planned it. He believes Malaya placed her children into a vehicle, handed them over to someone she trusted, and vanished. And here's where the details get even more chilling. That morning, May 2nd, Janie, the stepmother of Daniel Martell, the children's stepfather, says she saw something strange. She spotted Malaya standing on the side of a rural road. No one should have been there at that hour. She wasn't walking, she wasn't driving, she was just standing there.
I wonder if she's standing on the same road or that old house that was her great-grandfather's. That's got the well behind it.
Afraid, nervous, as if she had just done something and didn't want anyone to know.
You reckon?
To Darren, that moment wasn't coincidence. It was the handoff, the final goodbye. The exact minute
you got
when
that
Lilly and
right.
Jack disappeared from view, not because they were taken, but because they were sent. And so we ask ourselves, if this was a disappearance, then why does it sound so much like a departure? Who really vanished that morning? And who made it happen? To understand how a mother could disappear, you have to understand how she lived before she vanished. Her name is Malaya Brooks Murray, and before May 2nd, most people never knew much about her. But those who did describe a life that was quiet, disconnected, and slowly folding inward. She lived in a rural home tucked deep in the woods of Lance Station, Nova Scotia. Not just rural, isolated, the kind of place where the road turns to gravel, where cell phone service cuts out, where nobody drops by without calling first, and sometimes no one calls at all. According to relatives, Malaya didn't drive. She didn't work outside the home. She didn't handle the bills. Almost everything in her life, food, supplies, contact with the outside world, went through one person,
A minute.
Daniel Martell.
Now hold on. See, they already starting. Said she never left the home. She didn't do this. She didn't do that. But yet they claimed that she was a nurse. See what I'm talking about? How they just keep twisting this thing up. I mean, just 3 days ago, we heard that she was supposedly, knock on wood, a nurse.
Home. She didn't handle the bills. Almost everything in her life, food, supplies, contact with the outside world, went through one person, Daniel Martell, her partner, and the children's stepfather.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Listen one more time.
Didn't handle the bills. Almost everything in her life, food, supplies, contact with the outside world, went through one person, Daniel Martell, her partner, and the children.
Daniel and her partner, and I guess child support or whatnot from the real dad or something. So where does she have time to fit in being a nurse?
Yeah, for real.
Why wouldn't Daniel be pissed off? Why not? It literally turns my stomach to look at that picture right there. That ain't nothing but pure evil. No self-pity, no concern, except for just a little bit of thinking that she's going to get in the hot seat. Well, they're going to have to quit all this chase and tell, telling a bunch of junk. Now, according to her, she's a nurse and all this. That's the only way he could get a day in, working at the sawmill. Well, they talked to the sawmill. He didn't work at the sawmill. Couldn't do that because of insurance. So, the next step up would be doing things at the house to make money. You all know what I mean. Well, so now it's Daniel, her partner, and whoever this third person is. And why would she be waiting on the side of the road? And not just any road, she was just on the road. Could that have been the road that the old property got handed down to her that had a well on it? Could they have done something bad to them kids in the house and seen just them taking them out, putting them in the car? And that's why her and Daniel got into it.
Have they checked the well?
Yeah, they found teeth and child bones in there.
That's
See what I'm
probably
talking-
where they were held.
Well, what I'm trying to tell you, that I told you there's a third party in this mess to begin with. That,
Well, yeah, and it would have to be a guy because neither one, that guy, what's his name, couldn't lift both of those kids down that hill by himself.
well, no, with that, that's where it comes in strange for that woman across the street. She finally handed over some chips that goes in her.
Hey, Patricia.
Hey, Patricia, we're hanging in there.
Stay cool.
We're sitting with the air conditioner on now. So, for some reason, she gave them chips that were like a week prior before this took place and about 3 or 4 days after it took place. Something just miraculously happened to the ones that they actually needed. So that she knew that if she showed that, it would show them probably putting them children in a car. And if that is the route that they went, then what they said on the spirit box the other night is correct. And I don't believe, I think she did what she was going to do in the house, and she knew she was fixing to leave from there, and she would never have to go back in and see that place. And the most crucial, harshest thing was what the kids said. I guess they got their wish. We're not here anymore. How in the world could you do that?
Children's stepfather. One of her family members said she just stayed inside, kept to herself. After she met Daniel, she disappeared from us. But it wasn't just physical distance. It was emotional, psychological. Daniel, by his own words, was the one who took care of everything. He often spoke on Malaya's behalf, online, to the media, to friends. She didn't make statements. She didn't appear on camera. And when people asked, "How is she doing?" Daniel answered, "She agrees with me." Some say this was protection. Others saw something more troubling. In one leaked message, Daniel wrote, "They listened to me, not her."
He's controlling.
It wasn't just about the children. It was about voice, control. And that brings...
By no means, we're not saying he's innocent, period. But I tell you what, for him, well, not just for him, but I'm going to put this out there for everybody. If you're the type of person that's controlling, telling them what you can do, you can't do, get mad about this, get mad about that, whatnot, you don't need to be in a relationship with that person. If you can't love each other for who you are and what you are, it ain't worth it. Nobody wants to be controlled. Not a man nor a woman. And if you are a man out there and you're controlling to your family or your girlfriend, you are a coward. That's what cowards do. Real men will not take advantage of a good woman. It takes a coward to make a female or children just to care for you out of fear. And it's a daggone shame. No.
You can't live together because they heck
That's right.
from each other. What's the best policy?
That's it.
Brings us back to Malaya. What makes a mother run? Darren Geddes believes she didn't snap overnight. She was building up to it, afraid, confused, maybe even traumatized. He says she had PTSD from a past relationship, that she had tried to reach out to others, that no one answered in time. When panic set in, she didn't reach for a lawyer. She reached for friends, young women around her age, not experts, not authorities, just girls who thought they were helping her escape. And according to Darren, that's exactly what they did. A group of friends, possibly tied to indigenous communities, helped her vanish. Why? Because they saw a woman breaking down. They didn't want her arrested. They wanted her free, but good intentions aren't always smart decisions.
Yeah.
Darren himself said, "If she'd come to someone like me, we could have walked her out, legally, peacefully, with help." Instead, he believes she chose chaos, a last-minute escape, a rush to leave before the law or the past could catch up.
Yeah.
So now we wonder, did Malaya run because she was dangerous, or because she felt she was in danger? Did she vanish out of guilt, or out of fear that no one was truly listening? Before we talk about where the children are now or who might be
I'll bluntly
responsible...
tell you why she daggum left. Because she knows what she did to these children. And she got her ass out of there. Now, I don't care how many cousins and uncles, whatever the hell you have. You do not act like that unless you've done something terrible. She wasn't running because she was scared of him. She was running because she's scared for her life. She knows she snapped. Something went south. And using a third party to cover it up. And she just feels safer staying out of the limelight, you know? Tell me that she's running for something else. That's crazy. Anybody with a half a daggum brain can tell you that. That nut job.
Responsible. We have to ask something more painful. What kind of life were Lily and Jack living before they disappeared?
Terrible.
Because once you start piecing together what family members saw, what neighbors suspected, and what old photos quietly reveal, a darker picture begins to form. In one image,
the grandma of the biological dad said that the children were malnourished very badly. Hey, LA Canyon.
Hey.
I was messing on the wood pile with Meadow and the phone in her hand. Well, asked the backyard mechanic Daniel. You got that right.
That person's been on here before.
Yeah, and thank you for being on here too. I hope you subscribe. Yeah, you know, if she was so worried about what Daniel might do, why would she be sitting there all comfy and living life? You know, I think if she was afraid for her life, she wouldn't have been sitting around watching him do what he's doing.
Could start.
Well, you know, I don't really like throwing people under the bus unless I just absolutely have to. But, you know, I honestly believe what happened in the house. And she used one of them to cover it up. And, yeah. Well, you know, they said that she went out there and sat in her car for about 45 minutes. Just a thinking and whining around, you know, a little bit. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, I don't think that this whole thing, now I think some of it could have been planned out, but I don't think the whole thing been planned out because people's gotten too close to these children. And if he is telling the truth, I'm not talking about Daniel neither. I'm talking about that third party. If he's telling the truth, then yeah, them remains could be Jack and Lily's. I sure pray not, but why else would she have been dropped off waiting for them to just picture this in your mind. Okay, say you snap, you did something bad to your children, you used a third party, you didn't really know what to do, you were scared, and you got to thinking, maybe I can get somebody else to get rid of them for me in a place that no one would ever think to look. And call the person up and say, hey, I've done this, I need some help. Because she knows he's the type of person that would, for at least anything she would offer. Hey, Nancy, are we hanging in there? So that's why she would more than likely be standing on the side of the road, because she didn't want to watch the last bit of being able to see the children again. And most people don't that do any serious crime like that. They don't want to look at photos or go back to the scene of the crime or anything such as that. I mean, that would make more sense than anything. And yes, I believe 100% that she is guilty as charged. Well, you know, that woman that speaks for the children sometimes on the spirit box said that they would never see us again. Yeah. Um, well, she's went and got one of them, whatever kind of phone that's called, flip phone like things that you can just dispose of or whatever. They're too afraid to. They're too afraid. That's why this guy's stepping up. I believe where Daniel's fault comes from is by being aggressive, by being controlling, and saying you better fix this. I'll only cover for you for so long. If you rat on me, I'm gonna rat on you. Okay, well that brings the third party in. So now what you got? Now you got a mess. She did not want to see the aftermath of what happened. That's the only good logic that would even explain even a portion of this. Well, we know that so far that they had found teeth, found some children's bones. Now they ain't made no other update yet that I know of what they found in the well on that property. When it does, then I will most definitely film it. But let's go ahead and see what these nut jobs got to finish saying here for a few minutes.
Lily's arms hang unnaturally straight, thin from shoulder to wrist, almost no curve of muscle or fat. Her lips are cracked. Her face is dry. Her hands are dirty, not the playful smudge of a child who's been outside, but the kind of dirt that sticks for days. Jack's photos show him pale. There's what looks like a bruise on his cheek in one picture. In another, he's sitting on the floor, shirtless, staring at something off camera, eyes wide but dull. His pants are too big, his posture slouched, not the posture of a boy who feels seen, loved, safe. These might be just moments, but they're not isolated. Across the few public photos that exist, the children seem more like shadows than snapshots. And that might be the most telling part, how few photos there are. Months pass between them, years even. While Meadow, the baby girl who's biologically Daniel's child, appears constantly, smiling, clean. Healthy, in clean clothes with new toys, a warm blanket, a full bottle.
Yeah.
Her cheeks are full, her eyes are bright, she looks alive. Family members noticed this contrast. One of them said it plainly. Meadow got fed, the other two got cereal. Another relative added, there were rules. Meadow got one meal, Lily and Jack got something else. Usually cereal, sometimes crackers. No fruit, no protein, no variety. In a country like Canada, that's not just unhealthy, it's alarming. Then came the questions about schooling. Belinda Gray, the children's paternal grandmother, tried to check whether Lily was enrolled in school. The school said she wasn't in the system. No attendance records.
See what I'm talking about?
No withdrawal forms, no immunization records, no school photos. Nothing. It was as if she had never been there. For a 6-year-old girl in Canada, that shouldn't happen.
You think?
And Jack? There's no known daycare, no confirmed pediatric visits, no medical files anyone can find. These children weren't just unseen in photos. They were invisible to the very systems designed to protect them. The house they lived in was quiet, too quiet.
No,
Neighbors didn't recall seeing the kids outside much.
I don't believe he's
When
nothing to
police
that.
entered the home after the disappearance, there were no toys, no books, no drawings taped to the fridge, no child's shoes by the door, no little jackets on hooks, nothing to suggest that two young children had been living there. And if they had, then where was their world? Where was their mess, their joy, their noise? And if the children were being neglected, why didn't anyone speak up sooner? Was it fear? Was it apathy? Or was it just that no one ever really saw Lily and Jack in the first place? When you live in a quiet home at the edge of a quiet town, is it possible for two children to disappear long before they go missing? Sometimes
Stress
the most
can
dangerous
cause
sound
that
isn't
too.
a scream, it's silence. And in the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, silence became the loudest clue of all. From the moment she reported them missing, Malaya Brooks Murray, their mother, retreated. She vanished from view, gave no interviews, held no press conferences, made no emotional public pleas for her children. Daniel Martell, their stepfather, stepped forward instead. He became the voice of the case. He spoke to reporters. He did interviews on YouTube. He live-streamed. He said, "I'm the only one searching. I'm the only one who cares." And maybe that was true. Or maybe he just made sure no one else got to speak. Because in the background, there were whispers about control, about how Malaya wasn't just quiet, but possibly silenced. Family members began to talk. Belinda Gray, the children's paternal grandmother, revealed that Daniel never let Malaya visit her home. He was jealous, afraid she'd reconnect with her ex, Cody, the children's biological father. Malaya herself told Belinda in messages that Daniel had stopped her from giving out their address, that he was controlling, that he had even tried to access her money after the children went missing. She said, "He's not focused on my kids, he's focused on what people think of him." She wasn't speaking to the media, but in private, she was texting. And those texts were raw. She wrote, "I can't say anything to anyone anymore. Everything I say gets twisted." She didn't say Daniel was guilty, but she also didn't defend him. And when Belinda asked if she believed Daniel could have hurt the children, she said, "I don't know, but he's been acting suspicious." That kind of doubt doesn't come from nowhere. That kind of fear, that kind of pause, comes from something lived, something felt. Still, what strikes hardest isn't what she said, but what she didn't say. She didn't deny anything. When Darren, her grandmother's cousin, went public with claims that she had orchestrated the children's disappearance, that she handed them off that morning and planned to leave town, she didn't refute it. Not once. Not with anger. Not even with disbelief. She simply said, "Let them say what they want. I can't talk to anyone anymore." People started asking, is she hiding something? Or is she protecting herself? Is she guilty or just trapped? Because silence is a strange thing. It can mean shame, it can mean fear. It can mean someone's being manipulated or watched. In domestic abuse, silence is often the first symptom, not bruises, not panic, just a quiet absence, a slow disappearance of voice, of confidence, of presence. Malaya left the house less than 48 hours after reporting her children missing. She vanished with baby Meadow, Daniel's biological daughter, and didn't return. That baby has since been taken into CPS care, but no one knows where Malaya went, or why, or what she's hiding from. Meanwhile, Daniel continued to speak. He said the kids were alive, that someone had helped remove them, that maybe it was Malaya, that maybe it was someone else. But in every version of his story, he was the victim, the hero, the one who stayed behind, the one who was left behind. And that may be true, or it may be performance. So now we have two silences. One, the silence of two missing children too young to cry out. And the other, the silence of a mother once vocal, now gone. Not just physically, but emotionally. She's a ghost in her own story, a woman who called the police and then disappeared from public view. Is she protecting herself from danger?
Nope.
Or from justice? Is her silence the mark of guilt, or the scar of something deeper? When a mother stops speaking, when she won't even deny the darkest allegations against her, what does that silence really mean? There's a belief that still lives in the quiet corners of this
She
case.
knows her ass is great.
A belief that Lilly and Jack are not gone, but hidden. That they didn't die in those woods. That they were taken, not by force, but by design. That somewhere out there, 2 small children are still alive, just no longer here. It's a theory that's been whispered from the start. But now, even people close to the investigation are starting to say it out loud. Daniel Martell himself, yes, the stepfather, has said more than once, "I don't think they're dead. I think someone helped take them." And not just anyone, someone they knew, someone Malaya trusted, someone who could drive down a quiet road early in the morning, pick them up at the edge of the driveway, and disappear without anyone noticing.
See what I'm talking about? They don't just vanish. You don't just hand them off and they just never get seen unless something tragic happened. Period. If they wasn't guilty of something, why would they be ashamed to show the kids still alive? Okay. Well, I guarantee you, it's like I said, I guarantee you she blew up, pitched a fit, things went south, kids probably getting on the nerves, and, something tragic happened. And she used a third-party feller, and also with Daniel to help just talk it through to try to avoid as much as he possibly can of putting things off on her. Well, now it turns out that maybe that feller, the third party, left her on the side of the road, and he could have went down the ways and put them in that well or whatever, or buried them, whatever. And waited and come back and picked her up and took her to get her some of her stuff and took her straight to her mama's house. Yeah, it does. If something tragic has not happened, these children would have surfaced somewhere. I mean, come on. We was all born, and it wasn't yesterday. We ain't that daggum naive. If they were not guilty, why not just say, "Hey, my kid's right here. I don't want them to come get them." Because they can't. Her anger, her rage, she just snapped, and she plotted a way out. Probably she probably figured what she would do probably a week or so ahead before she ever done it. And the reason there would have been no sound is because of a pillow that the kids keep saying. I don't believe if they were put in a well that they were put there while they were alive. I don't believe that at all, 100%. I do not believe that these children went on their own free will. I do not believe that. I believe she knows she messed up. She cried and petted up to Daniel to cover for her, and she cut out to Mama's, and on her way to Mama's, she got out the car and let him do away with them. And if it comes back, like I said, and even if they can if it's got bone marrow in it and it matches up, she's gone. Daniel's gone. That baby, nobody, none of that family ever see that baby again. And then on top of that, that third party feller, he's gonna go down too, no matter what, because he's done put his big nose in here, and he can't be the one telling everything and just wear a halo. You know what I'm saying? There was too much said during that few sentences. At the end of the driveway, that's where the dogs ended the smell. Was cut off right there. Okay. We know that they didn't go to school a week before all this. So we know that it's about 7 weeks now or more. There's no way in humanity that you can give an explanation to why these children cannot be seen or told where they're at if they're alive. There would be no fear. There would be no hiding. They would be none of all this rimming around. Yeah. Well, that's the only one safe right now. And time this thing's over with, that family ain't gonna see her neither. Thank goodness. Yeah, she lied about the whole thing. Started out, they was in and out of sleep, and they went outside to play, but she wasn't aware of it. And anyway, she threw Daniel under the bus with all that stuff. And then Daniel made a fool out of himself trying to open that sliding. Yeah, none of them been going to school. So why tell the story that they stood there and waited at the end of the driveway, and the bus come by a little too fast? They even made fun saying that Jack would take his boot off or shoe off and throw it at the school bus. But they don't have no records at school or preschools or nothing. Daycares, nothing. They did not want these children known to the public. Now, I'm telling you for a fact, if these children were alive, they would not be ashamed to say exactly where they are, show everybody that they're okay. You could have been. They can't nobody tell me something critical didn't happen here. Okay, even as bad as I want to know that these babies are alive, they just ain't. I mean, how else can you say it? They just ain't. And with them last words from them children saying, I guess they got their wish. We ain't here anymore. How does that not haunt you every second? If that don't touch your heart, you're not a human being. I mean, this is crazy.
Darren, the man who first spoke out, claimed that was the plan.
I'm through talking. Now, y'all know as well as I do. Come on now. Now, everybody just know that you're being honest. If them children were alive, tell me I'm wrong. If them children were alive, they wouldn't give a flip who seen them, where they seen them, or nothing. But there's no trace, and they had no trace because that's the way she wanted it all along. That way, if something happened to them, there wouldn't be nothing really said or done about it because they ain't got no books on them. Well,
yeah, you wrote that right.
But the thing of it is, yeah. Well, let me tell you something. If these kids was alive, they would already been shown. Everything would have been okay. They'd probably been with CPS and got foster homed and everything and have a good life, okay. All right. But with her running off, within, knock on wood, the very next day her children go missing, they claim, which that's a damn lie. They went missing about a week or so before this ever even happened, before the phone call ever happened to the police. You would not hide your babies, your flesh and blood, unless you knew something traumatic happened. And if it got told, you would spend the rest of your life in prison, or you're fixing to get the death penalty. And that's why she's running from her own ass, getting in trouble. She don't care nothing about these kids. And she sure as heck don't care nothing about Daniel and her. You heard him a while ago say plain as day. Yes, just like that. A while ago, plain as day. And, said her, Daniel, and her partner, did whatever they said, but you heard them say it. So she did have a partner, so she was through with Daniel. And, of course, could you imagine how that's going to set him off? That's probably why he wanted her out of the daggone house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're with someone, and especially me, if Christina come in the house and brought another man in the house, no, see, that dog won't hunt.
Mm.
And if Daniel was ignorant enough to put up with that, it was a money thing. It was a money racket. And he knew if she left, that money would be cut off.
Amen.
So she used the third party to discard these two children. Now, it don't take a detective. It don't take a psychologist. It don't take a rocket scientist person. Just a plain, ordinary old country guy can tell you, prove a fact that if these children were alive, everyone would know it.
Oh, yeah.
They would be in all media sources around the world, and you can see them on live footage. She knows what she did, and she just didn't want to hear what the aftermath was about it. Yeah, that's it. More in love with her money than her dadgum her, though. This was a money racket. Exactly what this was. Mm-hmm. So no matter what they tell anymore, I'm fed up with them just chasing tails around here with these kids. There's too many of them coming up, going, and missing, and this and that, and they want to holler innocent and all this bull crap. I'm fed up. These poor babies did not deserve this. Okay? No child deserves to have to go through this. No child deserves to have to feel the way they felt. Yes, financial. That is the corrupt of most of all relationships. These children, just look at them. Just look. How in the world? Yeah. Mm-hmm. How in the world could you hurt that right there? Yeah. Well, Monty, you got that right. You got that
right. So true.
But I tell you right now, y'all know as well as I'm sitting here. Y'all know I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. She knows what she did. Daniel knows what she did. The third party knows what she did.
Everybody knows what she did.
Now,
that's why they're trying to cover it up.
She may have had the idea. She may be the one to come up with the idea of the well, if that's where they're at, or if they're just buried. But they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, if I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, see, I asked him that question just a few days ago.
Yeah. Well, see, if he was, see, no, when I'm talking about a money racket, I ain't talking about insurances. I'm talking about Daniel knows he can't make it by himself
Mm-hmm.
because he was relying on what income she was bringing in and what he could make and sell. So with her out of the picture, with her partner and running to her mama, well, he was pissed off. So, you know, she she's she had it up past her head. She's had enough. She blew up. Things went south, and she knows it. She may not ever be able to let the words come out of her mouth of what she did, because right now she's got a block up. Like part of her brain is completely blocked. If she lets that guard down, she's gonna start thinking of them children. And next thing you know, they're gonna find her somewhere where she's took her own life. Uh, yeah. But now, if the biological dad or his mom or whatever, the grandma, they may have life insurance on them. I don't know about that now. But I think I heard once said that Daniel and Malaya don't, but maybe one of the other family members do. But all in all, no matter what YouTubers keep putting up, keep saying, doing this, doing that.
And it's no matter as anything gets that bad, it is not bad enough to take the lives of 2 young children.
That's right.
Or really anybody.
Yeah. And if these children were alive, they would be seen across the world on live footage to prove to people my children are safe. We're not getting that. I do too, Nancy. I do too. I think she will.
Mm-hmm. Which is sad.
Well, see, CPS has got the baby, and yeah, it's supposed to let Daniel be able to see the baby. Yeah, and but there's something up about that situation there. With why did she just want to leave? Well, I think the truth lies in itself, because it wasn't just that she wanted to take and hurt him by taking the baby with her, but she didn't want nothing to do with him and forever again. She was done with Daniel, period. And she was aimed to take that baby hell or high water, because she knows she could draw off that baby. And she's done snapped and done something bad with these two. So all she's got left is Meadow. But now she ain't got that. So yeah, it'll all come out in the wash.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't nobody sit and tell me after 7 weeks or so of lies, things placed in certain places, people putting boot prints down that don't even add up to the weight of a child. I mean, finding stuff here, finding stuff there, where dogs can't even get into. Okay,
A hairdresser from New York said she's seen the children at a gas station across the road. That's an hour from the Canada-U.S. border.
Well,
there might be a possibility of that.
I wished. But I am just saying, and I'm saying this one more time, and that is it. If them children were alive today, their live footage feed every newscast around would be filming these babies, probably watching TV or playing with one another, doing something other. But they ain't got proof of that. And they don't nobody hide something this long, this hard, without something crucial had happened to cause that. I mean, that just ain't right.
How could anyone hide those kids and hurt them alive or deceased? Bring them home. So
Yes. You know, it's what worries me. That's right. They would have been. Hey, Lynn. That's right. They'd have been seen somewhere on some camera. You can't go out the house nowadays without being on somebody's camera. So that's why I'm saying they can't nobody sit and tell me that something traumatic didn't happen, because I know daggum well it did. Stop lying. Stop putting up this junk about new evidence, new this, new that.
It's misleading.
It's misleading.
Definitely. And false accusing.
Yes. I mean, you know,
and false information just in general.
You know, even Daniel, you know, I'm not saying he's innocent from not even maybe doing something. If they were both malnourished, well, that's both of them's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If they were hit on or kicked or whatnot, that would have come from both of them. That would have been just from one.
Yeah.
No. So that had to be two right there. But you would think that what else could have happened so traumatic, but no sound? Have you ever noticed how many times the word silence has been said since we started this case? The word silence. If you take and put a pillow over a child's face, if you have someone in the next room, they're not going to be able to muffle loud enough if that person's asleep to even hear it. I believe whatever happened up in the night whenever these babies was asleep, and she had the rest of the night and morning to figure out what to do, and the third person helped her get done with it, and then he stood back and stayed in front of the camera and thought he could divert it that way.
Touch your laptop before it goes
Oh, yeah.
And all along, that Malaya didn't panic when the children were gone because it wasn't unexpected. It was coordinated.
You got
that she was supposed to leave shortly after, but something interrupted her. That morning, Daniel's mother, Janie, woke up earlier than expected, saw Malaya pacing. On her phone, kids already gone. She missed them by minutes. And then everything changed. The plan unraveled. Still, 7 weeks passed. The woods gave nothing back. And suddenly, a reward was offered, $150,000 for information leading to Lilly and Jack. A number that large doesn't come without intention. Authorities don't spend that kind of money unless they think someone knows something, unless they believe someone is alive to be found. Some people think the children were taken out of province, maybe to another part of Canada, maybe even across the border. Maybe someone offered to help Malaya start over to escape custody issues, conflict with Daniel, fear of CPS, or something deeper. Maybe she believed that hiding the children was the only way to protect them, that if they stayed, they'd suffer. So she chose disappearance over confrontation. But if that's true, then what does it say about the people left behind? What about Belinda, the children's grandmother, who found out they were missing through Facebook? What about the neighbors who never even knew the kids were there?
Yeah.
What about the father, Cody, who hadn't seen them in years but now stares at an empty space where their names used to be? And what if it's not true? What if believing they were taken is just easier than facing the alternative? What if this belief, this quiet, hopeful lie, is the only thing standing between this family and collapse? Because no bodies have been found, no belongings, no trail, just silence. A silence so complete that it feels almost planned. So we're left with a final, impossible question. If your children vanished without a trace, no evidence, no struggle, no witnesses, would you pray for closure or pray that the story's not over yet?
Now, what you'd be doing is
Be out
praying,
there looking for my
praying that
kids.
you think this was a nightmare you had and just really didn't do it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something.
I'd be out there looking for my kids. That's what I'd be doing.
The reason she's not out looking for them kids, she made a statement. She said, "I'm not going out looking for a damn thing."
Yeah.
So that tell you right there, she know there was no sense in looking.
Mm-hmm.
She knows where them babies are. She just didn't want to see what happened at the tail end. That's what the problem was. I don't, as much as they want to say that they're here, they're there, they're this and that and other, seeing is believing.
Mm-hmm.
If they were anywhere on this earth alive, they would be seen on footage somewhere. It would have got reported to a news station, and they would be all over the news, all around the world. And that has not happened in about 7 or 8 weeks. No sign, no sound, just silence. Just think about how many times I've heard the word silence. I mean, it speaks louder than words. It really does. And there would be no excuse not to let the public know that your children are alive and safe. The only way to discreet and run and try to hide and be about ignorant as it comes is only by knowing what you've done. You can't run from your past. Okay. So, you know, these poor little old babies. I'm gonna see if I can find back on where they were digging in that well. I don't remember what channel that was. But I'm gonna dig around, find out, and see if they've come up with any more remains. If they have, then we'll go through it tomorrow. But guys, this here is just
It's sad, heartbreaking.
yeah.
There's a lot of things about the.
And you know, it's pitiful that people around the world have to, even if you don't shed a tear, you can cry on the inside. For you know, and that's what's happening for these babies.
Hey, Risa.
That's right. You can't teach stupid. You can't fix it either.
But not stupidity. You can teach ignorance.
I seen a shirt one
I
time that
love
said,
that. You can't fix stupid. I love that.
I seen a shirt one time that said, "I know I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid." Ignorant.
I saw somebody that has a shirt that said something I just said. I can't remember. Oh, you can't fix stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
If you've made it this far, you already know this story isn't about just facts. It's about feeling, about intuition, about noticing when something just doesn't sit right. So I want to ask you, what do you feel in your gut? Do you think Lilly and Jack wandered into the woods that morning?
Nope.
Do you believe they're gone?
Yep.
Or do you feel, like some of us do, that this story is still unfolding somewhere out there? Let me know in the comments.
Oh, there's
What do
still
you
more to be
believe happened
said.
that morning? What deep
They are definitely more to be said. But they, I mean, it may all go ahead and come out to wash
Are we going
anyway.
to talk about the kids tonight, Connie?
What?
Are we going to talk about the kids tonight, Connie asked?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Seems
Yeah, like a sleep. Yeah, bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
They can also get that from stress too.
Kids can be
Yes.
stressed too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people realize that.
When you argue and kids hear it,
environment.
it upsets them.
The environment can upset them.
And I'm sure they argue quite a bit.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
just arguing like that can upset
Yeah.
kids and all.
like I started to say earlier, one thing that does bother me is that when I try to reach out to them through the spare box, it's not very hard to get,
So
like it would be if someone was still alive. That takes some doing. And I just, I pray for these baby souls. If that's the route that they went with this, then they're perfect anyway because they're in the good Lord's hands.
and lazy bums just worried
Yeah,
about their
worried
sleep.
about yourself, worried about how one looks, and
Ain't that true?
one want to run the police and make a scene, and one wants to stand in front of everybody and show off that,
Seems like one was too worried about their sleep, and the other one just cares just about their image. That's what it
yeah,
seems
well,
like.
neither one of them ever see them children again, period.
I've said it before, and I'll say it many, many more times out through my life. Some people are just not meant to be parents.
Yeah. And, Daniel,
Seem fit to be parents.
if it comes back, I've heard of that a lot too. Sure have. If it comes out that the remains are, in fact, them, there's no guarantee that Daniel would ever see Meadow again. I mean, because his part is more or less going to be covering up a bunch of junk.
Mm-hmm.
And then her and whoever Fancy Bridges, the third party is, well, his butt be going for the same thing.
Sorry, I was reading. The LA person
Yeah.
said stepfather used to beat
Beat my
their
mother.
mom.
Messed me up when I was young, yeah. My mom then went through all that too.
I don't like woman beaters.
No.
I really don't.
But guys, we're going to cut it here. She got to be at work. What you working on? 12. So I'll probably be on about 1:30, something like that. I love y'all, and I'll see you then.
Try and sleep well.
Yes.
Sweet
Good
dreams.
night, love.
Sweet dreams. Me. Hey, I had to.